One. Hey guys, this is Dardamos with Dardamos Dominions, and I'm gonna back out of the last, turn, and we're gonna go into the new turn. Now, I'm once again with, JoBrandon. Say hi, Joe.
Hi.
And once again, we have Mandar.
Hello, hello.
And we have Txoumin again. Hello, Txoumin.
Hi.
And, Txoumin, real quick, where are you from?
This is racist.
I'm from France.
Where in China are you from?
Don't be mean to poor Txoumin.
That's actually mean. That's supposed to be Basque, but goodness.
Now,
Basque.
we've talked about this before, because I've always thought Basque, whenever I hear Basque, I think that it's Spanish.
Oh no, nothing
Because
at all in common.
You have the Basque separatists, right?
No.
No, is that not true? Okay,
Like-
so
Basque is basically divided in a few countries that are separated between France and Spain, with most of them in Spain.
Okay.
There used to be, there's still people that are like, Basque should be independent, blah, blah, blah. That's basically calmed down since the period there was the ETA, which was a terrorist group that was acting for independence, basically.
okay, so you're on the border between like France and Spain.
Per pure origins, yes, though I'm living in Paris, so
Ah, okay.
not really. Because I'm Basque and Catalan, basically, so that's the two Alps. So that's actually a mess.
Now, we're gonna go into the episode real quick. I do want to come back on a subject I thought about, but let's get into the game first. Okay, so he says he spent 40 death gems on site searching and not found a single death site. I do want to come back to this. We said Satis has got enchantment 5. He says, "What should I do next? Please tell me." We've got a boring raid. But of note, Airmore has gone to war with Vanheim.
Ooh.
Ashdod
Seems
has... What's that, sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say, seems like Ashdod diplomacy has been freed.
Yeah, Ashdod just got hammered, by the way. Ashdod is done. So, like, he's, like, suiciding at this point. Satis has pinged Vanheim. I'm not exactly sure why. But actually, let's look in here real quick. I don't want to get too much into this. Hey, Zan, remember, in order to join up, you need to subscribe, again. So yeah, just a standard thing. Airmore raiding Vanheim again, and we have diarrhea.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I think this is like the third or fourth time we've had diarrhea. So, just so you guys know, Balin has been sending some troll messages to Satis. First message.
Who's Balin here?
Balin is a co-host. He's coming into Omniscience. He's writing a couple messages and then ending the turn. So,
Okay.
First thing, Airmore is spending death gems to search. What is your thought on that, JoBrandon? Should Airmore be using should Airmore be doing that?
Even people with only Def 1 probably shouldn't be doing that. On Irma, it's nearly a crime.
I agree completely.
Yeah. Some of the names. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing with spell site searching is that it is good when you have you are not going to spend the gems anytime soon, which is definitely not true for Armor. You only have very low access to the gem type, so a single caster with a low path, for example. In that specific case, you might think about using site searching, or if you don't have access to a specific path, for a path that you know about. For example, I think a Well of Pestilence, it's very easy to tell where it is, but it requires Def 3, so if you only have Def 1 or Def 2, then you can use Dark Knowledge to find the Well of Pestilence.
Okay, so let's go over this. How do you know that there's a Well of Pestilence again? I'm sorry.
The province will have death scales, and it will often disease units that are in the province.
Okay,
Yeah,
so if you
it's pretty easy to pick up on if you keep an eye on the scales in various provinces.
and why wouldn't you send a death mage over there? Why would you do a remote site for that one?
Well, you could care about your mage being diseased, but that's really not a big deal. It's mainly because you might not have the death tree necessary to actually find the Well of Pestilence and get the gems from it.
Not many nations have easy access to Death 3. It's a lot more likely that, you have Death 1 from like some Bone Tribe shamans or some Kamazots indies, and you just have them running around site searching. So you can just have them cast Dark Knowledge, and suddenly, what is that, 2 more Death Gems a turn? Well, Pestilence is decent income.
Yeah, something notable...
No, go ahead. Go.
Something notable about site searching is you will find, I think it was around 90 to 95% all sites with just level 2 in a path. And level 2 in a path is usually what you need for spell site searching in the first place. So you can just manually site search and it won't cost you the gems.
Yeah, it's about 50% for level 1 for a path. You'll find 50% of the sites if you site search with level 1, 90% with level 2, 95% with level 3, and 99.999 with level 4, because I think there are like 2 sites in the entire game that are level 5 or higher or some bullshit.
Zan, welcome into the video. How are you doing, dude?
Good morning, guys.
Okay, Zan, I have a question for you. How often do you use remote site searching?
Early on in the game, I don't do it at all because I'd rather send my path 1, path 2s running around. As the game progresses and I start getting bloated, maybe there's some sort of death gem that I'll have one mage for that he can actually use it, and to me it's more efficient to just start using the spell site searching, because now I'm searching 1 province per turn instead of 1 province every 2 turns.
Okay, this Txoumin, I got a question for you, because when I first started playing Dominions, there was this amazing spell that I found that was that was called Akashic Knowledge.
Oh no.
And I mean, it tells you everything, okay? It tells you death, it tells you blood, it tells you all the important ones. How often do you use this spell and why?
Never. Unless you're using CBM, if I'm not wrong, it's just too costly. And the return on investment is basically too bad to be worth using. For the records, there's a game I played very recently where our lovely Int player was screaming tears for a few turns when he basically used Akashic Knowledge for 20 casts and found something alongside 4 gems.
Wait, he casted 20 times?
Yes.
Oh, he had found that one item that lets you cast it.
Oh, okay.
No. Actually, the Manual of Creation?
Yeah, Tome of Creation, yeah.
That wasn't manual creation. That was gem spent on this cast.
Okay, hold on. So he did it 20 times 25. My math is not very good today. How many pearls is that?
500. That is 500 pearls.
You can do anything with 500 pearls. Why do that?
Because basically the dude had been in a war since the get-go and basically couldn't site search much, and he hadn't used Astral for most of the game. So he arrived turn 50 with no gem site search and stuff, and he thought it would go faster. There was a bit of site search, but not much.
I mean, it went faster, he's right.
Yeah, and even then he found almost nothing because the cost is just too big. It's like, even if you found something, you're spending 25 gems. Let's assume you're lucky and you find two sites. In average, most sites gives 1 gem. So that means you need almost you need 12.5 turn to just reimburse your cast. Your cast. That's just crazy.
Now,
That's not even.
oh, go ahead, Joe. Actually, I was going to come to you. Go ahead.
That's not even accounting for the fact that pretty much all nations have already native access to at least half of the magic paths in the game.
Yes.
Now, JoBrandon, have you ever used this spell?
I think I might have when I started playing out.
Mandar, how
but
about you?
Not since I was a real super noob.
Zan?
I could maybe see justifying using it if, like, there's some underwater province that you manage to get that is like a gorge, so it has high sight frequency, but you can't get any mages down there. Then maybe I could see justifying 25 pearls for that. But it's a steep price to pay.
Zan, how many, or have you used this at all ever?
No, and I never plan on it.
We actually have. I've done it once. We had a site which was a high contested area. It was a throne that we had just taken, and 25 gems. We found because thrones have a higher chance of it. You're likely to find like 3 or 4 gems, which then it pays itself off in about 6 turns, which is not the best, but better than not being able to search it at all.
No, that's actually a pretty good payoff period relative to other site searching spells.
Now, Mandar, there's another site searching spell that is that searches multiple paths. Where is it?
I don't remember where that one
Conjuration.
is.
Conjuration, yes.
Water, correct?
I believe level 4, yes. Or
Yeah.
no, level 5, excuse me.
Yeah, that's a really good one because it's
Okay,
only 8 gems and it searches 4 paths. So it's like half of the Akashic Knowledge thing for less than half the price. It's a better deal.
I'm gonna go to Joe on this one real quick. Joe, so I've done Voice of Tiamat. What other sites should I be looking for underwater?
So, if you're using Voice of Tiamat, you are searching all elemental sites. Well, I don't really know what else to tell you. You search all elemental sites. It's more useful if you have not a lot of those sites, those paths already, because you might find mages or something like that. One notable thing about it, though, is that it's water, which becomes less useful once the underwater bowl is finished.
Should I also be searching for death and astral and nature and blood underwater, or what? Because water seems to be a different game.
Yeah, don't search for bloods underwater, because there are no blood sites underwater. It's literally impossible. It has to do with like bloods and water being inherently opposed in the game. Don't worry about it too much.
It makes no sense to me. No winter.
I believe that Astral, I think, actually has a higher than average chance of showing up underwater. Besides, of course, water sites themselves. Water sites, of course, are the most common underwater. There are various terrains where some types of path are more common than others. For example, mountains and caves have more earth sites.
Mandar, how often, especially once you reach late game, do you have every single type of path searched in a province?
I might search every path for like 1 or 2, maybe, but probably not.
How many like percentage of sites do you think you found in your territory by mid to late game?
That is a fantastic question. Most of them, but I don't know. I don't know.
But how well do you think you site search, Txoumin?
I think pretty decently. I know that I tend to rely a lot on remote site searching for basically any paths that I did a lazy job on. So I end up paying a bit for that, but gem income becomes so important as the game goes on that I often choose to pay the price for it. But I think like by turn 30, let's say I conquered an opponent, I'd say 4/5 of my provinces are basically searched in 5 to 6 paths.
Okay.
Basically never blood. It depends on how lucky I was in finding other path that I might not have access at the beginning.
Zan, when you take over somebody's provinces, how much do you search of their provinces?
It depends if I have to fight off some vultures or not. But if I conquer someone and there's no competition over the remaining territory, it's nice and quote unquote peaceful. Yeah, I'm gonna search them like if this was just into territory.
It depends I would say it depends on what you see, because sometimes you arrive and you see simply no sites, and you can suppose, often rightly so, that they did not site search, and then it's worth bringing the dudes. But if you see like there's one or two sites of different paths for on the province, on most of the province you took over, you can pretty much safely assume that all the national paths are site searched to at least level 2, basically.
What's really interesting is that Nosy, one of the players, I was watching some of his games, and he went to a player that he had just defeated and said, "Hey, do you mind me asking, what did you site search?" And the guy gave him and said, "Okay, these are the ones that I site searched. This is how far." It was really interesting because like Nosy's one of those guys that you can kind of just get along with, and they gave him everything. It was really kind of interesting.
That's successful diplomacy there, simply as that. And not many people. You can get along with lots of players, but even if you. And sometimes you can have a very, very good relationship, even though you spend basically your games killing one another. But not everybody is able or willing to share such knowledge to a player that they were defeated by. In lots of game, basically you're trying your hardest to make sure those who kill you will go down as soon as possible after you, because you will make sure they take as much damage as possible, and you make sure you give them no tools at all. So basically, you often don't see people telling you, well, I set such there, because it's giving you even more of a lead, and it's kind of unfair for the remaining players often. So I would take the fact that Nosy managed to get all the sites given to him as honestly very good diplomacy.
Okay, I want to hit something
think,
very controversial here, and I'm kind of curious as to what do you guys think about burning labs and forts?
I don't do it much, and I'd be pretty annoyed if somebody I was attacking did it. But that's a legit play. Like that's solid.
Joe?
I would only agree if you honestly, and I do mean honestly, believe that burning this fort or this lab is advantageous for you.
What happens if you're doing it just to screw the other guy over because he had the
Fuck
audacity?
that person.
That's pretty clear. I would agree with Joe there, because basically to me, as I see it, if you have the means to still be burning your things down, it's very likely that you had still mages and gems and stuff sitting around. Because if you actually fought to the bitter end, then all your resources should have been depleted, and you should basically be sieged everywhere. So you couldn't have had the possibility to burn your shit down, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's normally what happens to me. I don't actually have a chance to burn things down. But if I were to, manage to push them off for one turn, I'd burn that shit down. Fuck them. Pillage the province, too.
We need Valen in here.
He's the master.
Definitely.
Playing with him is I start pillaging shit here and there as well. And any labs that just pop up from an event that are not on a fort, they're going down.
Zan, I mean, you in the games that you've played, have you seen anybody burning forts?
I have never seen burning forts, and whoever does it, that's rude.
Yeah, so that's my I think that burning a fort is like bad manners. I think it's like you're pretty much
It's bad manners to kill people. This is a game of bad manners. This is the game of magical racial genocide.
Very true.
If you're not willing to burn down a fort, get out of here.
Can I get a word in about this? So the reason that I made the proclamation I did earlier, if you honestly believe it's going to help you win, do it. But that's because the way I see Dominions is we are playing a strategy game to pit our wits against each other. We're seeing like, okay, Wu is best able to outplay these others with the pieces we have. And if you're just doing things to spite others, then you are no longer doing that.
I like
I
gracious
agree
in
with that.
victory and gracious in defeat. That's my. In what's
Gracious, sure, but making sure that the people who kill you suffer for it, that's sort of part of the thing. You want to make yourself not be a target. If you just sort of like roll over and let them have all your stuff, that's just going to encourage people to attack you.
I think
Burn
there's
your
a
shit.
difference between rolling over and burning your forts to the ground.
It's a matter of degree.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Okay, so Zan, so have you seen it in any of your games? I'm sorry.
The fort burning? No, I've not.
Okay.
In the noob game I was in, if Olm knew about fort burning, I bet you he would have done it because he threw the game just to spite me.
Wait. Okay. So how so? Let me know.
And this happens to me every game. I have such luck for this, where a player will give up the chance of winning and just do everything in his power to damage me in any which way he can. And if that means he's under attack from behind and I'm in front of him, he's going to send all his troops in front and let whoever's attacking him behind just take his stuff.
Okay. How legit is that strategy, Joe?
So, there is some validity in focusing on a single person in a 2v1. To a degree, of course, but like if you you have to keep in mind that these people that are in a 2v1 against you do not trust each other. And if one of these is thinking, you know what? This is costing too much for me. This guy's getting all the land anyways. I'm fucking out. I don't care anymore. That is valid.
Mandar, how spiteful have you ever been? Like, what's your maximum level of saltiness towards an opponent that you think you've reached?
Bane Venom Charm in my own capital.
You gotta pillage it, man.
Instead, throwing the game just to spite someone is rude AF. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you? I'm sorry. So you said throwing the game in what way?
If you have a reasonable chance to win, and you throw that away to make sure that somebody else can't win either, that's shitty. But if you're out of the game and it's just sort of a matter of time, burn your shit down.
Txoumin, have you ever burned any of your forts down?
Never.
Never. Would you?
If I was given the occasion, maybe, especially if I manage to get salty, but that's hard work. No, I don't think I would, because most of the time I would try to fight every bit around and probably turn things back down. Probably it's due to my experience with the game, but I've made a few comebacks from very, very shitty situations, so I always think like, just keep going. Maybe you can do it. And I don't think like burning forts tends to be what will help you to go back. So
now, full disclosure here, I've never burnt down one of my own forts either, or at least not that I can remember.
One of the guys in Dan's Lucky Viewer just said he's listening in. He said you can burn a fort down on a throne if you don't think you can hold it, and you want to make sure that somebody else doesn't take it, and then there you have a secure win. I think that's pretty much it.
That is a galaxy brain move right there.
So no, go ahead.
There is one other, which is that if you normally, for example, have a lot of unforted labs, for example, if you're, say, Uruk and you have Enkidu shamans, but you're expecting a lot of teleporting thugs, you might want to burn down your labs just so that they can't teleport out of all your foreign labs.
I mean, the other thing is you get some mono drop and they leave a lab behind. You kind of want to get rid of that.
That too.
I can tell you right now from getting elfed, provinces that have a lab and no fort, that's prime elfing territory. Inversely, you can use it as a magnet. You know they're going there, but otherwise they're going to go there and they're going to cloud trapeze out somewhere else, and you can't stop it.
Okay, so let's move on to one of the battles that's in here, and the highlight of this entire turn is a troglodyte attack on Ulm. How bad is this event, Txoumin? Let's go to you. How bad is this event, and how common have you seen it?
That's actually fairly frequent. I can't say like how much frequent is it, but yeah, it's frequent to see it. It's usually very bad because most of the PD tends to be bad indies, or at least not size 4 indies. And troglodytes have fairly decent HP pool. They often comes by like 20 or 25 and are tramplers. So they tend to shit on a lot of the PD, so it's basically almost sure that you will lose the prevents to these events. And it's even worse if it happens in caves because of the malus for most of the units having no dark vision or stuff like that. So it can be pretty rough. Then it depends on the nation you are. Some nations can take back from troglodytes very easy, but I'm thinking stuff like Xibalba with the bats are just like I'll prepare some foods for it and go back to it later, you know?
Okay, so for some reason or another, I think we must have missed the initial war. Or maybe he moved from here to here. That might have been one. Oh, I bet he did. I bet he moved down. So we now have the start of the Vanheim Airmore War. JoBrandon, what is your thought on this war? Who do you think has the advantage in it?
Elves are very good at chopping things down, but there's a problem when the amount of things that you have to chop down nears a few hundreds. He could start doing some fancy stuff with elf thugs, but it's not a position I envy, especially if the Irma has some good research going.
I'd be more worried about the Armor Bless, which I personally haven't seen yet. Because I can't. If you could read it to me because of the issues we talked previously.
Yep.
Okay, so we have magic weapons, MR1, Undying for Undead Regen, Blood Vengeance, Fortitude, and Zerking 2.
Wait, hang on a minute. This maniac took Undying, two levels of Undying and Undead Regeneration. That is a lot of death magic on his pretender. I'm kind of worried. What is he doing with that?
I'm in the game.
Only
now.
thing can be Underdark, my friends.
Oh my god. Knowing Novel, Tertier, however the fuck you pronounce his name, he's going for Underdark.
Yep.
Yeah, he has Undying 16 in a game I'm in with him.
I love that guy. It's hilarious.
It's legit. Those lictors are nasty.
Yeah, I can bet.
I'm surprised to see a lot of knights here, even though that is a lictor class, and not that many lictors. Or no, wait, maybe I just didn't see them all.
We can go look at the find out which one it was. That one. He's got 39 lictors.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. Good amount of lictors.
Yeah, then I'd say it's rough for the elves to do tug play because lictors eat like truck, so it's going to require very, very good gears to survive that. Like very good gears. Right now, on top of my head, I'm not exactly sure how you can survive so many lictors with that.
Yeah,
You would
29
have-
damage is a huge hit. What's it?
Yeah, that's a lot.
I
On
think your
protection has never been the forte of the elves anyway. So
Joe, what were you saying?
I think your best bet would be surrounding yourself with a shield of long dead so that the lictors can't get to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably best.
that's basically it.
Time it out.
Yep. I think this version of Fan still has blood, so they can put a flesh eater. No, wait, flesh eater's problem. Horses.
Yeah.
Suppose you could do it with a dwarf smith.
It doesn't matter. It
It's
doesn't
very
matter.
awkward.
You got to remember, these guys don't retreat, or these guys don't retreat. So once they're around you and you're trying to retreat, it doesn't matter.
They're still affected by turn timer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they don't. They sit there.
But the commanders are now.
Skeletons stay on the battlefield. Skeletons never retreat, even for turn timer.
But they will dissolve.
They'll dissolve, but by then, if it's turn timer, the lictors will run away because the lictors are not minded. So if you can get surrounded by the skeletons, and even if you run away, the moment that that the lictors end up having to run away, the rest of the troops will end up.
But it's likely that the lictors are going to be surrounded by skeletons too.
But they shouldn't attack you, is what I'm saying. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because the main issue for Fernheim then is that it can turn timer, but it can't use lots of evocation and stuff to clear, like battle-wide spells to clear all those because of Blood Vengeance. Well, it can, but it's risky.
There's at least one fight where he does a big battlefield and just like the lightning it's gonna be really fun to watch. But yeah, you're right. It's gonna deal a lot of damage. Okay, so how do you deal with this in Vanheim turn 21? Let's go with Mandar. What do you do to stop it? Other than a thumb.
Oh boy. Lots and lots and lots of air elementals. Skeletons suck at hitting air elementals.
And not only that,
magic weapons on their bless, didn't they, though? So that's going to be a little rough on you. No shock resistance, though. So you can blast them away with thunder strikes and stuff, too.
Okay, so his leaders are... What's that say?
Nah, that's where Blood Vengeance comes in again if you're trying to use Thunder Strike.
These guys... Wait, they don't have Blood Vengeance, do they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, they do. Shit, never mind. Oh my god, that is just such a ridiculous bless.
Yeah.
It's Ermer! This is what they do.
Okay, guys. So we are reaching the end of our episode. I want to thank you guys again for joining up with me. Joe, thanks for reaching to the end with us.
No problem.
Mandar, thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Txoumin, thank you for joining us all the way from Asia.
You're welcome. That was my pleasure.
And Dan, I'm glad that this one we're finally able to get one going with you. So hopefully this one the audio works.
Ooh, yes.
Okay, guys. Well, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.